Hi, welcome to She Spice. When Chris Kelly died in 2013, it hit fanatics of mismatch. With a crushing weight, individuals were in shock, and there were tears all over the news, said it was an excess that took him so early. However, Jaguar Wright has an alternate take. She guarantees it wasn't simply the medications that caused his passing. As per her, the young men of Kris Kross went through some truly unpleasant stuff as children in the music industry. They were clearly supplicated upon by grown-ups in the business, snagged into that things they never ought to have been associated with. As little fellows, he felt that he was pulling off something, and all he was urged to do everything with grown-ups. And I was like, you all are not aiding me over here. This is a youngster, and obviously Diddy's name springs up in these charges. Diddy has an extensive rundown of allegations against him, and one of the most scandalous is his obscure dealings with young fellows in the music scene. There are tales that he inspires them to do some really upsetting things to support their vocations after Chris' passing. Murmurs began coursing that Jermaine Dupri, the person who found Jumble, could have either done something to them or permitted others in the business to exploit them. Even joke. Artist Feline Williams committed to supporting Jaguar Wright's cases. He openly called Jermaine the P word and even ventured to such an extreme as to call him the ruler of it. Williams additionally didn't keep down on Diddy, calling him out too. If you were to ask me, child, what's going on, I have returned to you in the event that JD ain't had enough now. Sadly, stories like befuddles are not uncommon. Numerous young stars wind up engaging in fixation, subsequent to confronting tough encounters in the business. I mean, Kris Kross hit the jackpot when they were only 12 and 13. Jermaine Dupri found Chris McDaddy Kelly and Chris McDaddy Emmett in 1991, and after a year, they dropped their monstrous hit Bounce. That melody was all over it, beat out all competitors for a very long time, and went to platinum. The couple proceeded to deliver. 3 studio collections were generally created by Dupri, and everyone was a business achievement. Their most memorable collection completely crossed out, even going multi-platinum, making them the most youthful and best melodic demonstration of the mid-90s. Dupri had a genuine skill for spotting ability. Confusion didn't simply make waves in music, it set precedents in design too. Their notorious reverse dress style was an immense hit in mainstream society circles, rousing endless impersonations and establishing their impact on the style of that period. Yet accomplishment early in life doesn't necessarily prompt an enduring profession. Kris Kross confronted this brutal reality as they grew up. As hip jump patterns developed, crowd inclinations changed, and the pair experienced various difficulties. Their brand name and reverse attire style, which had become inseparable from their picture, began to lose its allure among fans. Seemingly relentless ascent to fame in the long run prompted a decrease in their profession and their disbandment when Kris Kross headed out in a different direction. Chris Smith followed an alternate route. He chose to zero in on his schooling and sought after a degree in business and promotion, which was really moving. Then again, Chris Kelly went down a more obscure street. The tensions and enticements of notoriety ended up being a lot for him, prompting a day-to-day existence loaded with huge pressure and individual difficulties. One significant issue he confronted was balding, which simply added to his trouble. There were even reports that he was fighting malignant growth. Anyway, Kelly cleared things up in a meeting, uncovering that he had a LIFA, a condition that causes balding. My well-being is great. I simply have a LIFA. I don't have malignant growth or some other kind of sickness. I value the worry, yet I'm doing okay, he said. Kelly talked genuinely about his battles with balding and how it influenced his confidence and mental prosperity. He shared that losing my hair was a consistent sign of the business assumptions and the progressions I needed to persevere, to squeeze into their form. It was a troublesome experience that impacted me profoundly, but balding wasn't his main fight. Kelly likewise battled with chronic drug use, a battle that would eventually guarantee his life. Kelly Pratt and his uncle Lamar Williams were both mindful of his enslavement and were profoundly worried by his mom. Kelly's dependence was a disturbing issue she had known about for quite a while. She watched her child battle with substance misuse and frantically believed he should look for help. She frequently encouraged him to consider recovery programs and attempted to help him all around. Kelly's uncle, Al, saw the cost enslavement took on his nephew. He discussed that it was so difficult to watch Kelly change from a dynamic, gifted young fellow into somebody consumed by habit, notwithstanding their endeavors to intercede. Kelly's enslavement kept on destroying his life. The outcomes of Kelly's compulsion were expansive. It impacted his own prosperity, as well as his profession. Furthermore, connections, his capacity to seek after his energy for music and add to the business was obstructed by his enslavement. On May 1st, 2013, only hours before his demise, an upsetting video surfaced showing Kelly's last exhibition. It was an off-the-cuff meeting in his chaotic lounge room with lager jars and refuse dispersed wherever. The video was deplorable, showing Kelly shaky on his feet, scarcely ready to remain without influencing his verses, took a dull turn as he referenced a room loaded with the supposedly from a track he had been working on in ink. With B, the video likewise showed a gathering of people with differing levels of intoxication hanging out in his home in the wake of battling through his almost muddled rhymes. Kelly guided the individual shooting to zero in on memorabilia on his family room wall. He brought up a gold record granted to him for selling north of 800,000 collections, yet the brilliant days of his past were a distant memory. Just hours after the fact, a wild call to 911 revealed that Kelly had dropped and was lethargic. Clinical experts had shown up, yet their endeavors to resuscitate him were to no end. Kris Kelly was articulated dead at around 5:00 p.m., leaving the world in shock and grieving the passing of a gifted craftsman. Kris Kelly's demise has truly made fans side-eye the music industry, particularly any semblance of Diddy. Individuals are truly considering what precisely Bungle was presented to when they were simply young men. As of the late Diddy's previous protector, Jean Bargan, spilled some significant tea saying he saw Diddy looking at getting the M of Danity Kane, snared on drugs, and pimping them out. Now fans are estimating that regardless of whether Jermaine Dupri himself straightforwardly hurt mismatch, he could have presented them to things they shouldn't have managed quite early on. Kris Kross' story is not even close to exceptional, and they aren't the ones in particular who could have gone through the most off. All on account of individuals like Diddy. One more name that surfaces in these discussions is Justin Bieber. So last year, Justin Bieber began standing out as truly newsworthy again. Later, Cassie's claim emerged, and that claim truly began unwinding some dim stuff about Diddy. At first, it seemed like perhaps individuals were overcompensating about how poisonous things might have been for Justin around Diddy. However, presently with this new data, it's difficult to reject that something truly problematic as going on. Jaguar Wright likewise shed some light on this in her most recent interview with Storm & Line. She discussed that disrupting video where Justin is seen with Odell Beckham and three-pointer melodies in the video. It sort of seems as though Justin may be accomplishing something pretty compromising with Odell, like going down on him. A few fans attempted to get over it, saying perhaps Justin was only high on drugs, which is still quite terrible on the grounds that it's these more seasoned folds K's empowering a more youthful person into that way of life. However, Jaguar put any misinformation to rest. It wasn't simply some medication thing. She said it was precisely exact thing it appeared as though Justin was doing, and she called attention to Justin's discernibly wet mouth toward the finish of that clasp as confirmation that it wasn't guiltless at all. Expert returning blissful new year, and it appeared as though Justin Bieber probably won't have into was going on in light of the fact that Pan there right referenced that three-pointer melodies was fundamentally playing post, ensuring nobody, particularly the paparazzi, got what was occurring with Odell Beckham and Justin. It's a pretty turned arrangement when you consider it, and afterward I contemplate that truly upsetting film of Bieber, Odell Beckham and three-pointer tunes. Yes, and three-pointer resembles in a real sense staying there playing post as Justin Bieber goes down on Odell. The kid thought of his mouth wet. As indicated by Jaguar Wright, this descending twisting for Justin presumably began later. He enjoyed those notorious 48 hours with Diddy. Recollect their recording where Diddy's promising Justin a Lamborghini and a house during their station. Now that we find out about Diddy, that video simply makes individuals feel uncomfortable. It's difficult to watch without envisioning what Justin needed to persevere, assuming some pretense of Diddy's mentorship. And yes, Diddy wound up giving Justin that Lamborghini. Like as before, long as Justin got his driver's permit, he was seen driving a Lambo that closely resembled the one Diddy discussed, giving him on the off chance that Diddy didn't give it to him then. That is one amazing fortuitous event. Right yet, here's how could Diddy give such an extreme gift to a youthful craftsman out of nowhere? A ton of people think Diddy was assuming the part of a friendly benefactor, showering costly gifts on Justin as a trade-off for certain blessings. No doubt the keys it. Yours when you get 16, you great to go. I'm all set definitely, and afterward, when you get 18, you get the house, you get that. Subscribe Spice for more videos.